Welcome, everybody. All right, so we're back inside, and I'm organizing, or doing my thing. I'm actually still packing in a way. Doing one of my favorite things. How I like to do it. I'll show you. So I watch the Hotel Orloff. I like to watch the Hotel Orloff, and have this playing on the TV while I'm. This is his most recent episode, and I'll watch this on the TV while I'm actually organizing and cleaning my apartment and doing what I'm doing, which I'm going to be taking everything off the walls soon. We're still going to do just like what we were doing before. We're still going to, but we're not moving. So we're going to take everything. Look at, I packed all of the action figures. Look, guys. Look at all this. This is just about all toys. So now we have it's been many years since we've been able to be right up in here with the comic books. Look, these are just nothing. You can tell these are the G's because this is all giant size Marvel. So I filed giant size under G instead of the title, like giant size Avengers. I put it under giant size instead of Avengers. I do that with all of the giant size. I think everyone should do it that way. So like, look, we could see stuff. I've packed some of the horses, but not all of the horses are packed yet. But look, we can see art that we've never seen before. We'll be able to see that psychedelic red skull back there that you guys have never seen. You really can't see it. It's behind these horses. It's a great print. See, look, we'll get to that. And there's an MGMT print, one of my favorite old bands there, MGMT. This is a real vintage Battle of the Bay 1989 World Series poster. That's the Earthquake World Series, you guys. That's the game was playing. When the game was playing, that bridge collapsed. You guys remember? Did you guys watch this? I was watching it live, but I wasn't even here. I was in Pyeongtaek, Korea, and I was watching it from the inside of my hotel room at probably 4 o'clock in the morning or something. I don't know what the time change was, but it was an odd hour. Isn't this a nice creature? This is a piece of artwork done by just some kid that I bought a lot of art from back in the old days at Golden Gate Park. He used to make a lot of cool artwork, and I would just buy it from him. I made that congested space picture right there. Another piece of artwork from a kid that I used to see all the time at conventions. He made a comic book. He sold prints. Anyway, we got to go through all this. Well, we're going through it all. Now there's no hurry like before. I had this big hurry of packing everything, and you guys weren't going to be able to see anything. Now we're just going to look at everything. Show me a man who will jump out of an airplane, and I'll show you a man who will fight for his country. General James M. Gavin. Anytime, any place, the 82nd Airborne Division, America's Guard of Honor, America's Guard of Honor, stay all American. This is from the Reenlistment Office, right? There's a couple of these here. From the Re-Up NCO, I suspect, right? That's their type of stuff, I think. Really cool. Given to me by one of my dearest friends from the old days. Look at all this stuff, those cool Japanese anime figures. Let's come over here, and because even though I was moving but now I'm doing this other stuff, I'm always getting stuff. Remember how I said that was one of the things about the new place. Hold on a second. Kids are singing next door. So one of the things about moving to the new place that I was bugged about was the thought that packages, because I get a lot of stuff in the mail. I collect toys, and then I like to sometimes make videos about the toys that I pick up, So let's look at some of the stuff that has just recently showed up in the past week or two. I haven't gotten to yet, but it's still here. It hadn't been packed yet, so we're looking at it. This is an MPC gorilla, or sometimes referred to as King Kong. He's about 3 inches tall, I think. These came, in my childhood, I had this same exact gorilla in red, but I also had it in blue. So I picked this up. This is the first time that I have replaced this gorilla. But as a kid, this was one of my all-time favorite toys. Remember this? Have you ever played with this? Remember this hand? Yeah, I kept this guy with me for a long, long time. I don't know what happened to my original. It just, disappeared when I was a teenager. But now that I have him back, it's really nice to have him back. This is one of my all-time favorite plastic toys of my entire childhood. Super happy to have this guy back. He's like one of those, he's like a talisman at this point. So I have a couple, matter of fact, he's on the table, and I've put him with my other two artifacts, important artifacts. I'll show you what they are. So it's him now. It turned out there'd be this trio of artifacts now on this table. These artifacts I set here by my list of things to do to motivate me, to remind me of why I need to stay productive. So the gorilla, my Fonzie medallion. This is an actual authentic Fonzie medallion from the 1970s, from the height of Happy Days popularity. I believe that you would have found an advertisement for this medallion inside of someplace like the Star magazine, or maybe even TV Guide. I never had one until the past few years, but I picked him up 2 or 3 years ago. And then the third part of my talisman triumvirate is this wallet that I bought in Tijuana when I was 7. It was the first time that I went to Mexico, and we went to Mexico a few times, a number of times throughout my childhood and stuff. And so this was my first trip to Tijuana, and I bought this wallet when I was there. And so I've had it the whole time. I can remember when I got back from Mexico, I had this wallet, and I had this leather visor that I also bought in Mexico. And I was cruising around the neighborhood in San Jose on my green, Huffy, like Stingray type bicycle with the sissy bar and the banana seat. And I was showing everybody the stuff that I had bought in Mexico. This wallet, that visor, and one of those, some jumping beans, and one of those trick packages of gum. Remember those trick packages of gum? So you'd get these in Mexico. They made them with there's probably like 3 or 4 parts to these things. So it looked like a pack of gum with a stick of gum sticking out. And so you would offer it to somebody, and it looked like you were offering them a pack of gum. When they would grab the stick to pull it out, it would release some sort of a metal arm and swing, and it was a trick, and it would snap, and it would scare them and hit their finger. It wouldn't like really hurt them, but it was like a surprise. It was a trick. Anyway, I should try and find one of those. So this is it. These are my 3 current talismans to help me stay motivated. They stay on the table, and they help to remind me of something. I'm not sure what it is. Then also on here we have 4 new figures that I recently picked up. And those cars back there we already talked about. This first one is one of these Dungeons & Dragons animated cartoon figures from this show from, I guess, was this the 80s? I used to watch this show. This is a really good show. It was a Saturday morning cartoon show, I think, while I was in the Army. We would watch this. I feel like this is from the mid-80s. But now I have the full series on DVD, and it's really good. And they made these figures, so I think right now they just have these 3. This is Hank the Ranger, and then they also have Bobby the Barbarian and Diana the Acrobat. I guess they'll be making more too, because I think there's 6 characters or maybe more, the villain and everything. I really like this figure. This is really nice. He comes with 2 different bows. He comes with just this. He doesn't come with any arrows, or this is everything he comes with. He just comes with this bow, which, you know, just like the, without it being used. Sorry about that, Kong. Ooh, sorry about that, Nightwing. And then he comes with the bow, like in the action of it being used, and they both fit just fine in his hands. And I think that's it. That's all he comes with. Oh no, he comes with an 8-sided die. Where is it? Right here. I think this was a neat idea. So every figure comes with, you saw that on the box. Every figure comes with a D&D die, and he comes with an 8-sided D&D die, a nice one. All right, buddy. The next thing we got is a Nightwing. I like this Nightwing. This is another one of those McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures. Very posable. He doesn't want to stand up right now, but we'll make him stand up. There he goes. Very posable. He comes with these 2 batons. I'm not sure, or Screama sticks. I'm not sure why they have these white stripes on the end. It seems like it would defeat the purpose of the stealth or the combatives that you would want to achieve here. Since his entire outfit is black and a dark blue, it seems odd that he would have these white-soled shoes. Seems like a poor choice to me. I would prefer it was all black. There's a problem here with paint applications on this figure. Something going on right here on the mask. See it? See that? It's not completely painted correctly. I think I need to add some black. I'll see if I'm going to do that. I feel like it's missing some black there on that side. Sorry about that, buddy. Dick. Is that who this is? Isn't this Dick? Is Dick Grayson? I always get these confused. These people. So many Robins. Nightwing. Who's the other guy? Red Hood. Is he somebody? And then I feel like there's too many. It all just got so messed up. Too complicated. I'd prefer if it was just a couple. 2, 3 Robins is enough for me. 2 Robins, maybe 3. And then maybe 1 Nightwing. And I don't even know. Anyway, that's, yeah, this guy used to be Robin, but now he's Nightwing. That's what's happening here. He's kind of cool. He's all grown up, and he's pretty tough. He's got really good articulation, even though I'm doing this all one-handed and I'm holding the camera in this other hand. That's why it's kind of substandard at this point. Not really a full review of this figure. I'm not showing you all of the articulation, but Todd McFarlane's DC Multiverse is definitely growing on me. So I've been picking these up, and as I watch different reviews from other toy channels that I watch with regularity that make nice videos, find these figures, and I usually will pick them up only if they're on sale. So I'll discover a figure that's like half price of its original price from when it came out 3 years ago or something, like this figure. And I'll go, I wonder if that was a good figure. And I'll search on YouTube and find a video reviewing it from 3 years ago and find out that it was a pretty good figure. So then I'll get it. Let's come over here. This is another one of those exactly like that. Matter of fact, this figure's price is so low. This is like a $9 figure because nobody wants it, because it's an odd variation of Superman. And then in addition to it being an odd variation of Superman, it's one of these animated Superman figures. This is also DC Multiverse and Todd McFarlane, that has these legs and these joints that are difficult to get to support the weight of the figure. It's got limited articulation because when you try and pose it in different ways, it just falls down because of those skinny, spindly legs that are required if you know, you want to stay faithful to the design of the animated series. And I like it. I'm fine with this figure. I think this is a good $10 figure, and it can be dealt with, and you can make it stand up. It does come with a stand that helps, like they all do. And in this case, this is one where you do need the stand. But you can also work with it and make it stand perfectly fine. You saw that I picked it up and moved it, and it did okay. Let's see if it does that again. It stayed. All right, this is the last guy we'll look at. This is a brand new Lex Luthor that came yesterday. Same animals, everything else. 2 or 3 years old, 50% off. He's got this thing going where he's looking to the left. Not always a fan of this, but it's not bad with this figure of Lex because he's a sinister character, right? He's a bad guy, and I think it looks okay. This is a very highly articulated figure with nice, even though there's not much paint application here, it's all very nicely done. And the articulation is great. This armor is a soft rubber. It's not hard. Just see these? It's very cool. It's very neat. They made another figure, another Lex Luthor that's some sort of dark side Lex Luthor that they used the same body as this, but it's painted, I think, in purple and blue, or that blue and gray, and it has a dark side head sculpt. It's from some contemporary Superman story that I've never read, but it also is very inexpensive, and so I might pick that up too because it looks cool, and it comes with a throne. And it's a dark side Luthor, I think is what it is. It's like Luthor mixed with dark side. I don't know. But it looks pretty good. It also got good reviews. Even though it's using the same body, but it's an altered version. But also it's a $10 figure. So my mind has changed just in the past month or two about Todd McFarlane's DC Multiverse. The early stuff that I picked up, like for example the Demon figure that I got, I really didn't like. I was disappointed. But then as I tried a little bit more, I realized they're okay, and I approve and I'm enjoying what they're making. But I do still like all the other stuff just as much, if not more. The other stuff meaning Hasbro. Like I still like Marvel Legends probably more than this, just as much as, or in a different way. I mean, I like Marvel more, the Marvel characters more than I do the DC characters, that's for sure. I have way more. I have a large collection of Marvel Legends, and I like the other Hasbro stuff too. I like the He-Man, Masters of the Universe Masterverse. Look at this barbarian He-Man that looks, he looks just like a King Cole or something, doesn't he? It's a great figure. Maybe we'll get to him eventually. I pulled him out because I got this Dungeons and Dragons Ranger figure, and I was like, wow, this kid would look really cool next to this barbarian. They're like a team. That would be cool. That's all that's going on. I'm packing. I'm organizing. Is there anything else to look at? Gratu is looking at this Lois Lane. We've had him on pause for a long time. This is just my books. A lot of my graphic novel, comic reprint stuff. This is the Marvel stuff, and then some Tarzan. And this is the DC stuff. I really like these new DC reprints. I recently ordered the Suicide Squad one, the original Suicide Squad. It's on the way. I'm looking forward to reading that. I really liked these black and white reprints. I bought these all, 10 years ago or whenever they first came out. Most of them. This is, I guess, what you would call my independent stuff. A lot of this stuff is here because it was influenced by what my kids were reading. And they would tell me what they were reading or what they liked, and I would give it a try, and then I found out that I liked a lot of it as well. This mod mail truck card came with the model. I got this model, when it came out, right? This would have been probably about 1975, I'm just going to guess. So this card came with it. Oh, no, it says 1970, so I'm wrong. Earlier even than what I thought. So it's from 1970. Look at how great these models were. These cars were amazing. Interesting that I picked. This is probably the only one of these cars. If some of these other ones had been there and available, I would have picked them. So, but this mail truck, look at this thing. So I remember this model. I made this model. It came with a unicycle. See that? You remember how these would come with different things? Like I always really liked these models, and I would typically pick the ones that had extra pieces. Like there was a dog catcher truck that was like a dragon catcher truck, and it had a cage on the back, and it came with a little rubber purple dragon. I still have the dragon that came with the model that fit in the back of it. I also had a van that was a custom van that came with a Bull Taco, a black Bull Taco motorcycle that fit into the back of the van. It was really cool. This is my Jughead and hot dog display. This Jughead is part of a Marx Toys Archie figure line from the early 1970s. They made Betty, Veronica, Archie, and Jughead. Jughead's the only one that I have. He didn't come with a crown. I made that crown out of paper, and I actually kind of like how it turned out. If you don't look at it closely, it looks like it's totally supposed to be there, in my opinion. It's an interesting head sculpt that they chose for Jugs. I mean, it's obviously him, but his eyes are completely closed. I haven't really checked to see how he's drawn in the comics. Maybe he always looks like this. This dog isn't actually like an Archie hot dog or anything. This came from my mother's collection. She bought this in Germany. This is Goebel. She used to collect these German figurines. They lived in Berlin, my parents. This is some classic stuff, right? These things are heavy. I love these. I think they're called Berry. Is it Berry? Is that the name? Berry figurines? B-E-R-R-I-E, I think. They were very popular in the 1970s at stationery, 5 and dimes, card stores, you know. They would be at the display for gifts for people and cards, greeting cards and things. This is a classic pair. This came as a 2-pack from Funko from about 10 or 15 years ago, and I just opened it and threw the packaging away. And I've had them on display since. They probably need to be dusted off and washed, but this is a very fragile feather at the top of Daffy Duck's Robin Hood hat, and this is that classic scene, you know, remember? Dodge, parry, thrust, dodge, parry, thrust, dodge, parry, thrust, something like that, right? Here's a little, this, and everything we're looking at is just stuff that's left that didn't get packed. This is a little military display. There's a Beetle Bailey bobblehead from the 60s, also belongs to my mother that she just gave to me, part of her collection. She passed it on. This is some Remco Little Joe, little soldier. It's kind of a Remco idea of making a miniature G.I. Joe. Very, very cool toy. And this is a contemporary raising of the flag at Iwo Jima from, what is it? BMC Toys, I think. It's, you know, it's new. You could buy one of these off of Amazon probably. This is a Marx safari animal from the 1970s. That's my motorific boat from the 60s. This is a dirty and dusty Batmobile that was on a bottom shelf that I hadn't pulled out in a long time. A buddy of mine, like 10 or 15 years ago, was coming over one day, and he shows up and he says, "Hey, dude, I was just down the street on the way to your house, and there was a garage sale, and I found this, and I bought it for you. It was only a couple bucks." I was like, "Damn, dude, thanks so much." He had no idea what he had bought, and it was, I think he said it was $3. I was like, "Really? Wow, thanks, man. $3. It seemed like a lot, you know, to spend at a garage sale on me." And then he pulled it out of the bag, and I saw what he had. And I was like, "Holy crap, dude, really? You only paid $3 for this?" And he goes, "Yeah, is that a lot? Is that too much?" And I was like, "Shit, no, dude, this is freaking awesome. This is the one that comes apart. The bat wing comes out the back of it. Right? You know what I'm talking about? It like, where's the button for it? Can I do it one-handed? Is this the right button? Oh, it should just come out. There it is. Does this have to be down? So it came with the Batman inside there. It's all dusty and dirty. But at the back here, there's some sort of a release that releases. There it goes. I did it. It releases the Batwing. Look. Yeah, so my buddy Paul shows up with this. Did I do good? I'm like, yeah, Paul, you did fucking great. That's awesome. So yeah, I'll keep that forever. We have that. Gosh, is that about it? So then I packed a lot of stuff, you know, to empty these cases. There's just certain figures that are left, but a lot of stuff was emptied. Most of the Johnny West figures are all packed up and gone. There's just a couple Wild West toys right here, Roy Rogers and Rin Tin Tin. And you want to look at these hardbacks? They're not all hardbacks, but these are more books that we can see that we never really could see before. Those are those new Marvels. Some of these, you know, you guys will recognize and be like, oh, wow, man, that's classic. I have those Star Trek readers. Or that Star Wars movie hardback. Remember that? Fist of the North Star. These are my Whitmans back here. This is this crystal, Waterford crystal or something, decoration that is kind of tarnished, needs to be cleaned up, but this was a gift from my godparents to my parents before I was born. And it was like always in, anyway, it's heavy. And that's why I have it. So it came from my godfather to my godparents to my parents before I was born, and my mother gave it to me as like a, I guess, some sort of an heirloom or something. I'm not sure what the gift was. It might have been like a 10th anniversary gift for my parents or something. These are Whitman books. Lunacy Becomes Us by Adolf Hitler. Tarzan the Terrible. What is that? Some Bill Malden. Me and My Kids. This back. Here's my Berserk collection. I'm up to number 7, which I haven't even unwrapped yet and gotten to. I really like Berserk. I would say that if you enjoyed Game of Thrones and you also like anime or manga, it's similar to that. I would say it's similar to that. This is one of those hardback EC versions, these newer ones. This is the George Evans one, I think. Yeah, it is. Headlopper. I like this. That's the first 4 editions of Headlopper. There's some Star Trek. Weird Love by Craig Yo. Here's more Craig Yo. This is all the Craig Yo stuff that I own, I think. This is kind of cool if you haven't seen it. This comic's about cartoonists. Have you guys seen this before? We should go through this and take a look at it soon. All this stuff we will. The same with, I really like this edition of Your Dreams because it's made to look like a pillow. See it, or like a mattress. Remember the old, looks like an old mattress, and it's padded. It's soft. See how it's puffy? So it's soft. It's supposed to be a mattress, right? And it's called Your Dreams. You know, it's a compilation of these Jack Kirby Dreams comics, right? Which I guess kind of is what later on. Well, before Jack Kirby did it, There was a really famous comic book called not comic book, it was a newspaper comic. It was called Rare Bit Fiends. And why can't I remember the name of the artist? Somebody will tell me. And anyway, this is an early comic strip artist that did Rare Bit Fiends. And it was a comic about nightmares and dreams. And Rare Bit was a term that essentially was a term for a grilled cheese sandwich during the turn of the century, right around there. And if you, there was a legend or a wives' tale that if you ate Rare Bit, which was just melted cheese on bread, if you ate it before you went to sleep at night, you would have a nightmare. And this guy made a comic strip of this called Rare Bit Fiends. And it was these dreams. Then after that, there was a new version of Rare Bit Fiends that was put out by, I think, Rick Veitch in the 90s. But then at the exact same time, Harlan Ellison was putting out a comic book called Harlan Ellison's Dream Corridor. And yeah, so there you go. That's some dream comic books, I guess. I also used to have this really cool book called The Dream Dictionary. I think I gave it to an old girlfriend of mine. I believe I gave it to a girl. But it was a neat book, The Dream Dictionary. And you could, if you woke up and you had a dream about, say, like, what would it be about? Like losing your teeth, right? So then you would look up teeth, losing them, and it would say, it is believed that if you have a dream about losing your teeth, you are worried about money. That's what it would say, or something like that. There's a couple more of those new DC reprint books, that Superman, that Wonder Woman. I really like them. The quality is good on this new DC reprint stuff. And this is the new EC stuff that Dark Horse is doing right now. I think Gratu asked about this, about how if the colors are the same, if they're faithful, if they're reprinting Marie Severin's colors, and they're not. But they're not reprinting Marie Severin's colors because they're digitally coloring all of these. But they are digitally coloring them exactly in her style, and it will say that at the front of every one of these books. It says down here. Most of the coloring on the original versions of these stories was done by EC colorist Marie Severin, although all these stories have been digitally recolored